Yep.
Okay, continue recording. Well, good morning. Here we are at the Texas Red River. Yesterday morning I was in Austin, spent the day with my new coaching client, and we had a great time. In fact, we discussed everything from the very first time she left her home country, got on the airplane in Nairobi, Kenya, to fly to London to go to fashion school. And all of the journey that brought her to where she is now as a mother, living in Austin, Texas, working for a big IT firm, doing all the work that she does. And as we talked about what it means to bring forward that keynote speech that's inspiring, that draws people in, that causes people to want to do something new, to face the challenges, we found some key phrases in her everyday conversation that I think are going to be really powerful for bringing forward people to make sure that they have the opportunity to pursue excellence in their own lives. Now, I'm not going to reveal all that to you because I'm going to post her speech here after she's done her keynote for the school. And I think you're going to be blessed, but I think it's going to blow you away. She's got brilliance in her and some great stuff. But here's one of the little things that we did come across, and I thought it was kind of cool. You know, this is the season, the fall, the wrapping up the end of the year. So many nonprofit organizations are doing their fundraising banquets. And there are a lot of those, the PEP, Prisoner Entrepreneur Program, the Operation Care International, the Roaring Lambs, Global Advance, Restore Ministries. These are people, even the TKU, the King's University, all friends of mine that run these organizations, and they have their annual banquets. And repeatedly I have the chance to sit down at this lovely spread of dinner and enjoy the frustration of not knowing which fork is what. And I know that there's three of them at least. There's the one at the top of the plate, I believe, is dessert. And then there's the outer one that's for the salad, and then the next one for the entree. And sometimes you get that tiny little fork and you look at it and you go, what am I supposed to do with that? You can't use that for anything, except olives. It's really good for olives. If you've got that tiny little neck of a jar, you have to stick the tiny little fork in there. And you know what I found out? No matter how much you try, you can't cram the fork for the entree into the olive jar. Now, there's some things about the olive fork and the dessert fork and the salad fork and the entree fork that are exactly the same. They all have tines. They're all made of metal. They're all called forks. They look alike. And if you were just looking at them from a distance or looking at them without perspective to compare one against the other, you might think, well, they're no different. They're exactly the same thing. They're the same substance, they're the same shape, they're the same thing. But the reality is, all of us are different. Now, how did this come up? As I was talking to my client yesterday, we talked about how many different people have the same education, they have the same background, they have even similar characteristics or personality traits or histories. And companies tend to do this evaluation as you come on board, whether it's a personality profile or a DISC assessment or the Florence Littauer program, and the animals are the covers of the whole thing really is about labeling someone to say, well, they're like this. And if they're like this and other people are like this, then we can treat all of the like this people the same way. And it's simply not true. It's no different than the racial divide that we see in our country, where people are being so categorized by their race, by their income level, by their religious affiliations, by the neighborhood they live in, by the zip code they come from, by the place they went to school, by the neighborhood they grew up in, by the type of job that their parents have or the income of their family. We get these little labels stuck on us. And they're like, well, you're like that because you grew up like that. I told the story here before about the gentleman I met out in front of Starbucks, and I've seen him dozens of times, never had a conversation with him. Until one day, a friend of mine was sitting chatting with him and his friends, and I walked up to my friend and said, hey, give me a call later. We'll talk this afternoon about that plan that we were putting together. And he just kind of looked at me and kind of blew me off, and I'm like, dude, are you going to call me or not? Because if you're not, don't waste my time. If you're going to call me, then let's talk about 2 o'clock. And this new person that I'd never met before, never had a conversation with before, was like, dude, really? You're going to let him talk to you like that? You don't even know this cracker. He's going to come out talking to you like that? And my friend laughed at him and then said, actually, this is a friend of mine. He's like, you're friends with a white dude? And it kind of blew everybody out of the water. Everybody went silent. Everybody in the area was like, whoa. He's like, man, this cracker coming up here talking to you like that, you're going to let him dish you in front of your friends like that? He's like, no, he's a friend of mine. And he's just being funny, and I'm not offended by it at all. And it took about 10 minutes of this conversation. And finally, the guy who started the whole thing looks at me and he goes, you know what? 10 minutes ago, I would have thought you were just another Trump-loving white dude, and you come rolling up in here in your motorcycle, and I don't want to have nothing to do with you. You're probably a racist KKK-looking dude. He said, but now that I'm talking to you, I kind of like you. Now, every morning when I see that guy, it's either a fist bump, or a handshake, or a hug. There's a cordiality that goes along with getting to know someone, building know, like, and trust. Initially, I had a label. I was just a white guy on a motorcycle. Couldn't be a good guy, couldn't be a nice guy. I was a white guy on a motorcycle. When we slap labels on people like that, we end up looking at it going, well, it has tines, and it's made of metal, and it's called a fork. It must be the same as every other fork. It doesn't have uniqueness. It doesn't have a purpose. It's when we begin to define things a little more closely to what they were made for. When we realize that the olive fork is a really slow tool for trying to eat your entree, whether it's lasagna or roasted chicken. But so is the entree fork really complicated to try to get olives out of that tiny little jar. It just doesn't work. And when we label people, when we slap a label on them and go, well, you're like this because of your education, or you're like this because of your background, or you're like this because of your parents' upbringing, or the nationality, or where you went to school, we do ourselves a huge disservice because we put people in a box that we can't get them out of. We don't allow them to be who they were made to be, to see their strengths, to see their abilities. I love strengths finders because I love the idea of knowing that when you take that evaluation and you look back on it, you're going to find that you're 1 in 35 million. 1 in 35 million of an exact match. The same 5 strengths, or the same top strengths in exactly the same order. 1 in 35 million. How unique is that? That's pretty unique. What that means is that as you interact with people, the way that you treat them, the way that you talk to them, should recognize that they're as different as every apple on the tree. No two are exactly the same. No two snowflakes are the same. You can't just slap a label on them and go, same education, same neighborhood, same zip code, same kind of parents, same kind of church, same kind of family, and expect them to be the same. It doesn't happen. None of us are like that. If we don't learn to communicate with people according to uniquenesses, we lose them. Now, what I wrote on the screen was that writing a speech is like trying to crochet a snowman. You're wondering right now, what does that have to do with labels and forks and banquets? It's really simple. Whether you're standing on the platform at one of those fundraising banquets, or you're sitting at the table at that fundraising banquet, the way that you communicate with the people around you has to be as unique as the people around you. You've got to be willing to share the stories of your life that build know, like, and trust based on the uniquenesses of the people that you're talking to. If you're always talking according to your own interests, they don't care. If you're always talking only about you, they don't care. John Maxwell says it well, nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. If the way that you communicate with them is always about you, it doesn't benefit them at all. And if the things that you have to say don't interest them, don't interest their life, don't include stories that make them feel like they're part of it, then you lose them. And again, it doesn't matter if you're on the platform or sitting at the banquet table. So drawing through that common thread of all the things that are important, the action that you want them to take, the way that you want them to feel, the inspiration that you want to deliver to them, but bringing it through each of the stories that allows you to emotionally relate with them. That's what I mean by crocheting a snowman. Understanding that every story is a little bit different because everybody you talk to is a little bit different. You've got to have that uniqueness, whether it's a sales pitch, a presentation, or just a bedtime story. Bringing in the uniqueness that allows people to feel unique. That's what will allow you to connect with people. Will you take some time today, the people that are around you, and find out some of their uniquenesses? Find that connection between you and them that allows you to uniquely communicate with them in a way that maybe in the past you haven't, because you smacked a label on them and thought you knew everything about them because of the label. I hope you'll take the time to do that today, and I hope you'll begin to crochet that common thread through all of the stories that you tell and all the relationships that you have. I'm J Loren Norris, and you've been watching Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.